Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to The Secret of the Hidden Scrolls, Book 2, Race to the Ark. You know this is about Noah's Ark, right? Remember what the kids have to do, Peter and Mary? They have to solve the words in 7 days' time or they get stuck back in the past, way back when Noah was building his ark. So we have blank God, blank will, blank blank. So, any ideas? I'm not sure if it's hi God, when will we heal? How's that? Or something. I don't know. Think about it. So, that's what we're trying to solve. Previously on Race to the Ark, that's one huge boat, said Peter. Oh, do not call it a boat in front of my father, said Shem. He wants everyone to call it the ark. Okay, said Peter. It's one huge ark. They arrived at the top of the hill, and Peter was out of breath and ready to eat. It looks even bigger up here, Mary said. Peter ran beside the ark. It's almost 2 football fields long. Do you know how long that is? Let's see, I think it's 100 yards. So that's almost 200 yards long, if you know what a yard is. Not a backyard or a front yard, but a yard you measure with. Shem tilted his head. What is football? It is a game where we came from, said Peter. Well, you will have to teach me. It gets boring up here building the ark. How long have you been working on it? Asked Mary. Shem counted his fingers several times. About 100 years. Peter's jaw dropped. You don't look 100 years old. Thanks, said Shem. If you think I am old, wait till you meet my parents. How old are they? Asked Mary. 600, said Shem. But they are in great shape. I'm sure they're around here somewhere. He looked around and shrugged. Do you want a tour of the ark? Asked Shem. Sure, said Peter. He hoped food would be involved. Chapter 7, the Ark. Well, how do we get in? Asked Mary. There is only one door, said Shem. It is on the other side. Animals were sleeping all around the ark. Peter tiptoed quietly between 2 snoring alligators. 2 pink flamingos each stood on one leg and slept. I couldn't do that. One of the tigers was awake and purred as Mary walked by. Was that a purr or a growl? Hank chased the sheep. Remember Hank's the dog? Hank chased the sheep and the cows around in circles. Sounds like he was a herding dog. I have never seen so many of these animals, said Shem. They must have come from far away. Mary knows a lot about animals, said Peter. Ask her if you have any questions. They finally made it to the other side. Shem pointed to a long ramp leading to a door in the side. Are you ready to go in? Peter ran up the ramp. He could hear Mary and Hank racing up after him. Oh, wait for me, Shem said. But Peter couldn't wait. He ran through the door and stopped. It's bigger than I ever imagined. He walked to the center of the ark and stared up. Large wooden beams went from the bottom to the top. Peter could hardly see the roof of the ark. It was so high. The sun shone through a row of windows at the top. Peter walked up the ramp leading to each floor from the center of the ark. He could not believe how many cages there were. They don't even tell us how many, but I'm sure there were thousands. Shem joined Peter on the ramp. We have been busy for the last 100 years. Mary joined them. Where are all the animals? Outside, said Shem. We need to make sure everything is ready before we let them in. Peter sniffed the air. What's that smell? I would have said it's the animals. Are you hungry? Said Shem. Peter nodded so hard he thought his head might fall off. We haven't eaten in 2 days, Mary said. Ruff! Barked Hank. And here's what the artist thought the ramp up into the ark looked like. We don't know for sure, but it's kind of what he thinks. I kind of think it looks like it. Why did not you tell me, said Shem. We have lots of food. Follow me. They walked up the ramp to the 3rd floor. A delicious smell floated out of the kitchen. Peter followed his nose to a brick oven. Look at all this food. Peter looked at the shelves filled with fruits, vegetables, corn, berries, bread, potatoes, lots of potatoes. Behind the shelves were piles of wheat and sacks of flour and grain, and more fruits and vegetables grew in large pots. Shem walked to the table where a big round guy was slurping soup from a bowl. You know when they do this? This is my brother Ham. He is always eating. Ham looked up. Nice to meet you. These children need to eat, said a short lady wearing an apron. She brought 2 bowls of soup and some bread and set it on the table. This is my wife, said Ham. Ruff! Barked Hank. Ham's wife set a bowl of food on the ground. We cannot forget you. Peter wasn't sure how many bowls Mary and Hank ate, but he had 3. Where's Japheth? Asked Shem. Ham took another bite of bread. Probably working. He is always working. Shem took Peter, Mary, and Hank down to the 2nd floor. Clank, clank, clank. Japheth was hammering a hinge into the door of a cage. Finished! He swung it shut. This should be the last one. Peter looked around the shop. You have a lot of nice tools. He picked up a hammer and a saw. Thanks, said Japheth. I have built many cages over the years. Shem, Ham, Japheth, a woman's voice echoed through the ark. Where are you? A lady walked in and said, There you are. This is our mom, said Shem. You don't look 600 years old, said Peter. Shem's mom smiled at Peter. Well, thank you very much. They came with the animals, said Shem. We have come to help, said Mary. We can use it. Shem's mom turned to her sons. Your father wants to have a family meeting. He said God has given him a very important message. They walked all the way up the ramp to the very top deck. Peter squeezed through a small opening onto the top of the ark. He could hear Mary grunting behind him. A tall man with a long white beard and a blue robe stood at the far edge. Welcome, he said. My name is Noah. Peter nodded, but he couldn't say a word. He might not have read the Bible as much as Mary, but he knew who Noah was. I understand you are here to help, said Noah. Yes, said Mary. Well, we can use it. Time is running out. What do you mean? Said Shem. Noah walked to the edge of the ark and looked into the distance. The flood is coming. When is the flood coming? Asked Ham. Soon, Noah said. Very soon. Are we ready? Asked Shem. 2 eagles flew over Peter's head. Doves landed near his feet. Birds covered the top deck. I don't know if we are ready, said Noah, but God is. I finished the last cage, Japheth said. Noah walked to the edge of the ark. It was about 100 years ago when God told me to build this ark because he is sending a flood. Why? Asked Mary. Noah looked down at the woods. It broke God's heart to see what has happened to his amazing creation. What happened? Said Peter. Noah shook his head. Things have gone wrong, and darkness and evil have covered the earth. What do you mean? Asked Mary. Noah pointed toward the city. The earth is full of violence, sickness, hate, and greed. Sounds like today, doesn't it? Never mind. It is not what God created it to be. Peter remembered how beautiful the Garden of Eden used to be. It was perfect. The world has gotten so bad that God is sending a flood to wash it clean, said Noah, to start over. He sat on the deck. God will use the ark to rescue the animals and the people who believe. An owl landed on Noah's shoulder. Everyone else will be destroyed by the flood. Ooh, hooted the owl. Everyone. But God promised to rescue me and my family. We are the only people left who have faith in God. Well, what about the other good people in the world? Asked Peter. There are none. Noah pointed at the temple of the snake. They have all turned against God. Mary thought for a moment. Maybe if you told them about the flood, they would believe and follow God? Noah shook his head. I have been telling them for more than 100 years. What do they say? Asked Peter. They laugh and they make fun of me. Noah petted Hank's head. They do not trust God. They would rather do what they want. Aren't we kind of like that? We like to do what we want, maybe, instead of what God wants? Never mind. That's sad, said Mary. Noah's wife hugged him. Yes, it is. There were times I wondered if I was crazy, said Noah. I had to learn to always trust God. Peter looked over the side of the ark. Look, more animals are coming. Well, I hope we have enough cages, said Japheth. Ham rubbed his belly. I hope we have enough food. Father, said Shem, Mother said God gave you an important message. Oh, yes, said Noah. God told me the flood is coming soon. When? Asked Shem. In 7 days, said Noah. 7 days to get ready? Shem said. Peter watched a shadow fall across his shoe. Peter looked up and saw the sun setting behind the trees. Noah looked too and counted on his fingers. Actually, we only have 5 days left. Ham dropped the loaf of bread he was eating. A whole loaf of bread he was eating. 5 days? Yes, said Noah. So get some sleep. We have a lot of work to do. Well, where do we sleep? Asked Peter. Follow me, said Shem's wife. She led them to a room on the 3rd floor. This is nice, said Peter, plopping on a soft bed full of fluffy wool. Just make yourselves at home. We will wake you in the morning. She walked out and shut the door. What an amazing day, said Mary. Can you believe we are actually on the ark? I can't believe it, said Peter. I want to write something in the journal so I don't forget. Remember, he writes in the journal just like great Uncle Solomon. Peter crawled into the fluffy bed. He propped the journal on his knees and wrote, Day 2. The ark is much bigger than I imagined, about as long as 2 football fields. I saw thousands of animals and more keep coming. I'm not sure what some of those animals are. Noah and his family are the only nice people we have met. They're taking care of us, and we have lots of work to do before the flood comes. Peter closed the journal and fell asleep with Hank curled up beside him. So there wasn't a whole lot of today, but it was kind of setting up because the next chapter is all aboard. So the flood is coming. So stay tuned. I'm going to take next week off because of the 4th of July. So I hope you take it off and have a good time with your families. Please be safe. Please take care of each other. Wear your mask. And God bless America. Thanks, guys.